Hi, Peg Monkey, and welcome to Geeks vs. Nerds, the debate-style program where we investigate topics no one else has the guts, tenacity, or interest to investigate. The object of the show is simple: secure the title for your team's candidate using facts, obscure knowledge, and trash talk. Tonight, Hellboy vs. Wolverine on Geeks vs. Nerds! Now, as far as Hellboy goes, it's not bad. It's Mike Mignola's attempt to place nurture over nature. And he does make it clear how much it would suck to be an indestructible demon. The expense account, free room and board, the respect of your peers, and all the pancakes you could eat. Who could ask for more? The Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense, or the BRPD, is the thin line in the sand between white picket fences and an H.P. Lovecraft demon planescape where children are raped, eyes boil in their sockets, and it's a Michael Bay film festival every fucking day. For eternity. The BPRD is the enemy of folklore, not just mythology, any folklore, all of it. If someone wrote a story at some point about a one-legged, nearsighted albino with halitosis that nibbles on your toes while you're asleep, the BPRD has punched it in the dick. Assuming it had a dick. Records from that time are spotty at best. Hellboy is the key to hell on Earth, much like Kim Kardashian. But does that make him the ultimate, damn near indestructible blue-collar hero? Hell yeah. Wolverine is a pedophile. In his time, he has actively teamed up with Rogue, Shadowcat, Jubilee, Shadowcat again. But nobody says anything because Wolverine's primary ability is to keep Marvel from going bankrupt. Wolverine would be the worst father ever. Let's assume for a moment you make it out of your first year not becoming a baby kebab because you invoked Wolverine's berserk rage after keeping him up for 6 days straight. There would be no getting away with anything if Wolvie was your dad. You're fucked. It'd be way worse if you were Wolverine's daughter. Bringing your boyfriend home to the family, that would be disastrous. Ding dong schnicked. See these? They can cut through anything. You defile my daughter, I'll cut off your Johnson. He's the best at what he does, and what he does is keep Stan Lee in Coke and Horse. Stan Lee is my Hugh Hefner. Wolverine has been on every major team in the Marvel Universe. Wolverine is a character concept so thin it's sharper than his claws. But does that make him the most damn near indestructible blue-collar hero? That's what we're here to find out. Let's meet the geeks and nerds. For Team Geek, Hellboy, and your geek leader, he is the purveyor of mind-numbing intoxicants and soul-shattering profanity. He's the avatar of the crappy die roll. It's the geek-tastic Gavin Carruthers. You should be running. It's the right hand of doom, Dan Schreiber. He wishes he had a stone hand. That way, it wouldn't warm up his beer when he held it. It's 10 feet of geek packed into 2 feet of human. It's Eirik Armshaw. For Team Nerd, Wolverine, and your nerd herder, his penis must be made of adamantium. Why else would it move around Ian McKellen? It's Patrick MacDonald. He's Finally found the job more useless than a podcast host. It's a history teacher for the DC universe. It's Larry the Question Gent. He claims to be bigger than Jesus and has been assured by his publicist that there is no way that this could affect him negatively. He's Andre the Answer Myette. It is time to roll for initiative.
7.
16.
16 for the nerds. Gavin maintains his streak. All right, nerds, first or second?
First.
Ready, begin!
He's approximately 122 years old. He's seen all the horrors that have been thrown at this world in the past century. World War I, World War II, the Cold War, Desert Storm, Iraq War, September 11th, and the rises of Bieber, Gaga, and Kardashian. And he keeps coming back. He's a survivor.
Wolverine is the best at what he does, and what he does isn't very nice. But to be honest, if you had 6-inch claws on every hand, there's only one thing you can do, and that's kill people. I mean, you do not want Wolverine being your proctologist or your gynecologist.
Wolverine got his powers. He's not supernatural. He got them through what is essentially a very serious birth defect. So he's not only indestructible physically, he is emotionally indestructible because he has overcome adversity.
And Wolverine, the topic of this is Wolverine's an everyman. Wolverine is the ultimate everyman. He drinks a lot. He has kids all over the world he doesn't know about. He's been married more than once. He hates his boss Cyclops, yet he wants to screw his wife. Sounds like most people I know.
All right, over to the geeks.
Why is Hellboy the ultimate indestructible blue-collar hero? He's the poster child for blue-collar. I mean, he drinks cheap American beer, he smokes nasty cigars, he has a really big gun, he is a really powerful right wing, and his distaste for education means that he is absolutely not only blue-collar, he's a redneck. In fact, if he was, he would be winning the nomination for the Republican Party, except he's biracial. He's not Tea Party. You know what? Hang on. He's not just a blue-collar hero, he's a red state. I mean, honestly.
I'm gonna give a point.
You don't get any more blue-collar than a redneck from a red state without making your cousins nervous or pregnant.
Hellboy, when he was 8, they took him to Mexico so they could put him to work right away. He was working for the BPRD at 8 years old as a field agent. He started his working career at 8. How do you get more blue collar than 8 years old working?
6.
6 years old and working? 5 years old and working? Now people are auctioning off their children. You guys need some help.
He only
All
makes...
right.
But he works for free. Well, not free. Because he was 8, the only thing he wanted was pancakes, and he hasn't been allowed to renegotiate yet.
Nice. All right. It is now the attack round. Finish him. Wolverine is a nasty-ass cigar, because that's what Wolverine smokes. And for Hellboy, a nasty-ass cigar, because that's what Hellboy smokes.
Hellboy grew up going to a private school by a rich English professor. How blue-collar is private schooling?
We have a token being turned in already.
Wolverine works at a private school. How fucking blue collar is that? He's a fucking teacher at a billionaire's private school.
Exactly, he works for a living.
Doing what? Shadowcat?
Nicely done. Back over to the nerds.
Okay, the big word in this whole thing is indestructible. In the comics, Hellboy just died. He had his heart ripped out, and he died. He's not pining for the fjords. He has ceased to be. He's an ex-Hellboy.
Wait, that doesn't
Case
sound
closed, Columbo.
That doesn't sound very indestructible to me.
No.
Not at all.
And further, Hellboy acts blue collar, but he works for the government. He's got a big fat pension. He's George W. Bush. He may as well. Hellboy is the 1%.
Besides, every indestructible guy gets the babes. Wolverine has thousands. Hellboy has one, and she's a freak. It burns when she pees. But he has to be with her, because what's a regular woman gonna do when Hellboy suggests fisting?
Now it's over to the geeks.
He lives in a mansion. Wait, no, not just one. 2 fucking mansions.
Okay.
Hang on, we have a token being turned in yet again.
Yeah.
What point
Clinton's
would
been
you
looking
care
for
to
that.
rebut?
About Wolverine living in a mansion. He doesn't live in a mansion. He lives in a small island off the coast of San Francisco, off the grid, away from the government, because he doesn't like the government.
When he's not living in a mansion.
He's not living in a mansion. The mansion doesn't exist. It's called Utopia Island. Read the material.
Utopia?
All right, thank you very much. Back over to the geeks.
Wolverine is a member of the Avengers, the X-Men, X-Force, and virtually every other team that Marvel's trying to make money off of right now. He still spends an awful lot on hair products to get that whole flock of seagulls thing going that he's got there. And he wears yellow spandex. No blue-collar person I've ever met will wear yellow spandex. I mean, really.
And for indestructible, we're talking about the guy who got killed by the Punisher. That's like the lowest end superhero in the Marvel universe for power. Yes, it's in a what if, but he still did it. What? They can't kill him for real. They go under.
Shut up! It's not your turn. Here's the fucking thing. We're missing the. Okay, here's why Wolverine is awful, because I love him. Okay, and that's not the issue. It's this cult of personality bullshit. Like, look at the superheroes in the world he inhabits. The Incredible Hulk. Even like fucking Spider-Man, a teenager whose balls probably haven't even dropped yet, realistically could kick the shit out of him, but people love him so much that he's everywhere. You want to know how you fucking kill Wolverine? You strap his feet to the ground and hover an electromagnet above his head and pop!
Monkey.
Show how the character has managed to quip while taking a good solid beating. Now, nerds, you have 2 minutes. Begin.
While fighting the Hood in a bar, Wolverine was pumped full of lead while the Hood escaped. Nonplussed, Wolverine picks himself up off the floor, sits on a bar stool, grabs a beer, looks at his own body riddled with holes, including the giant gaping hole where his penis used to be, and says, maybe it'll grow back bigger. Now, it takes a big man, or maybe not, to make a joke about his penis, especially when it's missing.
And further to the point, Wolverine also recognizes that there's times when you don't need to say words, when your look can be the quip. He's just like my dad. He realizes sometimes all you need is an ugly stare, crack your neck, and put your cigar out on the nearest teenager.
I went and looked up the definition of quip in the dictionary. Now, sure, it says making funny jokes to be quipple. It also says something amazing and fantastic. 6-inch claws coming out of your hand, amazing and fantastic. The ability to heal from being run over, amazing and fantastic. Hugh Jackman's ass in a movie, amazing and fantastic. That goes out to Sandra in the back.
Moving over to the geeks. Geeks, you have 2 minutes. Please explain to me how Hellboy quips after taking a good solid beating. Begin.
Well, he's getting worked over by this monster dog, and all of a sudden he grabs a phone off the wall and says it's for you and smashes it over the face, laying it out cold. Like, that's fucking funny.
Two quick things. One, on the actual subject at hand, Hellboy, and I'm referencing a movie here, so I apologize, comic book fans. Hellboy 2, fighting giant plant elemental in the middle of the city, tearing apart the town, throwing cars everywhere. Does he panic? Fuck no. Looks up, looks down, goes, I'm gonna get Big Baby. Walks over to the truck and gets Big Baby. And that's the end of shit. Now, that having been said, we're not arguing actors, so Hugh Jackoff can go fuck himself. And second, if we were, Ron Perlman got slapped around, and by that I mean made Blade 2, came back and did Sons of Anarchy. So, fuck y'all.
While fighting a Greek goddess, Hellboy comes up with, I was gonna cut you some slack on account of you being a major mythological figure. But lady, that's just nuts. He quips, he fights, he kills, he walks away.
The Geeks and Nerds, let's hear it. Come on! Please explain to me a scenario in which Wolverine beats the crap out of Hellboy. Begin.
Every day.
So Hellboy's out in the woods fighting pixies or gnomes or wood nymphs or whatever gay-ass fairy tale creature he's fighting this week. While walking through the woods, he comes across a plate of pancakes sitting on the forest floor. As the fine aroma of Aunt Jemima's finest wafts into his nostrils, he's totally distracted while Wolverine sneaks up behind him and rips his heart out with his claws, which has been proven to already have killed him. He falls dead to the floor. Wolverine lights up a cigar. End of story.
What is the worst that Hellboy can do to Wolverine? I mean, the Hulk ripped Wolverine's legs off, tossed him, and Wolverine just attached him. Wolverine just reattached him. Hellboy can't do anything. So remember, folks, Wolverine can reattach his limbs. You can't. Play safe.
Okay, moving over to the Geeks. Begin.
As we learned in World War Hulk, repeated blows to Wolverine's head will mash his little brain inside his adamantium skull. So Hellboy, having a giant stone fist, is going to have no problem with that. He punches Wolverine about the head and neck a couple of times. Eirik?
Wolverine is flying through the air when he comes to, and he's wondering what's happening.
At this point, he discovers he's over water, where an 800-pound adamantium skeleton is a bit of a liability.
Guess who's in the water? It's a fucking fish ninja.
The end.
I'm giving a point to both sides for using Fish Ninja.
One other quick thing, because homie over here brought up the deficit. And look, my people are sensitive about that. We don't like to talk about it. But since you brung it up, who put all that adamantium into Wolverine's body? We're going to repossess some shit. It's going to be adamantium that, whose turn is it to talk? Oh, not yours. And as such, they contract out to Magneto. Oh, all you are now is a caveman with bone claws, douchebag.
That was the fight round. We are on to the punch-up. So we have 5 minutes of open debate. You have 5 minutes. Begin.
You want some of this?
The American government
Bring it
is
in.
not- The American
Shut up,
government
Larry.
isn't going to take back Wolverine's skeleton because the Canadian government put it in him.
Canadian what?
And number two,
Whoa.
hey, not done.
That's
Not
bullshit.
done.
I call
You said-
bullshit.
You and the yellow
Hold on,
spandex
hold
question.
on. I want to hear this
All right.
side now.
Okay, I call bullshit.
You do that.
Reason being, the Canadian government does not now, nor has ever, had the budget to pull that shit off.
No
Who do you
operating
think
budget.
funded
They don't
them?
now
We need
because
plausible
they did it
deniability in North fucking Korea. Here's
Okay.
some money, inject some crazy mutant motherfucker with some adamantium and get on it.
Okay, you made a joke about Wolverine's yellow spandex. I just like to point out.
Oh, that's not a joke.
I just like to point out that the
Depends
topic
on who you ask.
The topic is blue collar. Wolverine wore a costume where he actually had a blue collar.
Not willingly.
Wolverine fought giant robots. Hellboy defeated giant robots made by Nazis.
Yeah.
That's better.
Wolverine
fought giant apes made by the High Evolutionary. Hellboy defeated giant apes made by Nazis. Wolverine fought vampires. Hellboy defeated vampire Nazis. Way better.
Thank you.
All about killing
And
the
as
Nazis
we all know,
for the
Nazis
common
are
man.
more evil than everyone.
Wolverine defeated Nazis
Hellboy was brought into this
in
world
World
by
War
them.
II. Where else are there Nazis?
Hey.
This is
Okay.
history. Come on.
Citation
All right,
needed.
let's break it down to comedy. Hellboy's a giant red ape with a powerful right hand. He's just right for masturbation jokes. No one would make a masturbation joke about Wolverine because it only end in a lot of blood and no more need to masturbate.
Yeah, and you know what else he's right for? Fisting Wolverine to death with his giant giant red fist.
Look, whatever your fanfics say, these aren't the issues.
Of course they are. We only ever argue fanfic.
Wolverine.
What the fuck are we here for?
Wolverine.
Listen. What's more badass, all right? You tell me what's more badass.
Is Flock have Siegel's haircut?
That's pretty badass, man.
Or
That's
his
awesome.
anti-Hitler facial hair. He's got everything but the tiny little...
What about Hellboy's
Get the
Amelia
reverse
Earhart hat?
What?
What about Hellboy's Amelia Earhart hat?
Okay.
Too soon.
Yes, it's too soon.
I mean,
Jesus, we just lost
Okay,
her.
Wolverine. Hellboy plays with cats. Wolverine gets a lot of.
No.
No.
Hellboy
Wolverine
rescues
He
cats.
has kittens on his own.
Wolverine just got back from hell, where he defeated the devil, liberated all the tormented souls of hell, set up a new benevolent dictator of hell, and killed all the enemies he's killed over again.
That is the fight, Ren. That is the punch-up. We are about to render a decision here, but before we do, final words, Geeks.
How does he fit those 6 adamantium claws into his forearm? Ah, chronic masturbation.
I get people manically cheering chronic masturbation. Okay.
I just want a Fat Apollo award.
All right. Final words, nerds.
Listen, Stephen Harper wants to spend tens of billions of dollars on fighter jets to protect the Arctic. I know it. It's true. I know a Canadian guy that'll do it in exchange for a box of cigars, a bottle of scotch, and no questions. Wolverine!
This conversation brought to you by Master Debaters.
You've heard the arguments, such as they are. And now it's time to render a decision. Do we hear it for Hellboy and the Geeks? All right, or do we hear it for Wolverine and the Nerds? I hereby declare the ultimate, damn near indestructible blue-collar hero to be Wolverine. Thank you for watching Geeks vs. Nerds. Please join us for the next show. Thank you all very much.
This is the ultimate showdown, ultimate destiny, good guys, bad guys, and explosions. As far as the